of Plateau State, in a state address today, says the attack in the Bassa local government area described it as a coordinated act of terror. And tonight, we shall be speaking with a member of the APC's CPC bloc. It talks about the planned exit of the Buhari group in the party and all of the issues pertaining to the internal workings of the APC. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimale here in Abuja. Tonight we'll be digging into the issues in Plateau State and we're bringing you insight on what is going on exactly in that state, perhaps trying to find a lasting solution from those who are the leaders in the state. And of course, we'll let you know what exactly are on the minds of the groups who are on the Buhari bloc, which is a CPC bloc, the foundation of the APC, one of the foundation blocks which makes up the AC, the CPC. Don't forget that the ACN, the CPC, part of APCA, part of the PDP, came together to form the APC. But there are talks now that some of them are planning exit out of the party, and you've seen a lot of the visitation to former President Buhari. Tonight we'll be getting insight about what happened in their meeting today, and maybe they're actually exiting, or the exodus are planned out of the APC. We'll be getting insight tonight on the program. But before we get to do that, let's bring you your political roundup stories.
About 15 million Nigerians are at risk of flood disasters in 2025. Vice President Kashim Shettima disclosed this at the commencement of a one-day validation workshop on the Anticipatory Action Framework for Nigeria held at the National Counterterrorism Center in the Office of the National Security Advisor in Abuja. He, however, assures of the efforts of the federal government to forestall the disaster through proactive measures.
We lose close to 5% of our GDP every year to reactive disaster responses. This approach is not only unsustainable, it is also deeply unjust to the most vulnerable amongst us. This workshop must be guided by the tragic reminder that 15 million Nigerians remain at high risk of loss this season.
The Lagos High Court sitting in Ikeja has declared the removal of the reinstated Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, as illegal, unconstitutional, null and void. In a judgment delivered today, the court also nullified the proceedings and resolutions of the House held on January 13th, 2025, during which Obasa was ousted. Obasa had filed a suit against the House of Assembly and the newly appointed Speaker at the time, Mojisola Meranda, to challenge the legality of his removal. Taraba State Governor Agu Kefa says his administration is taking the right steps to change the narrative of underdevelopment and put the state in its rightful position of development. Governor Kefa, at an event to inaugurate the state's International Investment Committee, says the move became necessary in view of the state's abundant yet untapped natural resources that require proper harnessing. In Ondo State, Lucky Aidatiwa says criminal elements would not be allowed in the state, vowing to flush them out of their hideouts. The governor was speaking at an interactive session with various youth groups drawn from the 18 local government areas of the state. According to the government is working assiduously with all the security agencies in the state towards ensuring adequate security of the lives and property of the residents of the state. To Edo State, where Governor Monday Okpebolo has vowed that there will be no diversion of Edo State funds in his administration, as every revenue generated will be put into the state's economy to facilitate development plans and projects. Governor Okpebolo made this of the State House of Assembly of the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. The new APC member who represents Ikoba Oka constituency disclosed that his decision was based on self-conviction and a desire to support the governor's development efforts. The national vice chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP South-South, Dan Obi has accused former Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki of destroying the party in Edo State. Mr. Obi also called out the caretaker committee of the Edo PDP under the leadership of Anthony Azegbemi as chairman for colluding with Mr. Obaseki. He insists that there was nothing to show regarding his account of stewardship as governor of Edo State.
Obaseki destroyed everything that was good in Edo State before he assumed office. I want to use this opportunity to send this message to the acting national chairman of our great party. This is the time for him to rebuild our party.
And in Rivers State, a growing chorus of dissent continues to echo through the streets once again. The women of Rivers State are at the forefront, marching across the state. Under the banner of Rivers Women Unite Prayer Group, they're calling for what they describe as the immediate and unconditional end to what they refer to as an unconstitutional emergency rule imposed on the state.
Thank you so much, everyone. There you have it. You've been served with your political roundup stories. Let's now take you to Benue State, where the governor, their own father, Isaac earlier, has been speaking about the incident and the attacks in that state. We understand now 3 suspected herdsmen said to have been arrested over the Benue killings. The governor said it earlier today in Makurdi. Take a listen to him.
We've lost 11 people. There are some villagers who are still missing. We're hoping that they would be found. Since last night, we deployed through the security heads. Earlier this morning, before 5 a.m., the deputy governor was directed to move in. And this later part of the morning, the Homeland Security with the Commissioner of Police already on ground there for every assessment. We are experiencing the new phase of these attacks. What we see in the front lines now, Nate, these horrible, terrible fighters are in the front lines. They come and they kill any person, irrespective of ethnicity, on their way. They go back a few weeks, and then they come in full-fledged for occupation. This is land grabbing. As the NSA just assured me last night again, they're going to put again in place, in our support, everything that requires to be done.
All right, then, much later on the program, we'll take you to nearby Plateau State to Benue State, where we've seen similar attacks, and we give you insight into what is happening there. But first, our first stop on the program in terms of conversation will be the internal run-ins and wranglings, as you may find it, in the All Progressives Congress APC. So today, those whom you will refer to as the CPC bloc of the APC have met. So they met today, and one thing they're saying is whether or not they are in or out. Then if you look at the list of those who met today, led by a former governor of Nasarawa State, Umar Tanko Al-Makura, a former governor of Katsina State, and the former Speaker of the House of Reps, Honorable Aminu Bello Masari, Malam Adamu, Senator Ibrahim Musa, Senator Mustafa Saliu, Honorable Farouk Adamu Aliyu, Honorable Almajiri Gaidam, and a long list of those who met today who are the major members or the core members of the former Congress for Progressive Change CPC, which are a major bloc in the APC. And today they're asking quite a few, making a few demands. They are saying that they reject the politics of division and desperation. And they are also saying there's been an internal disconnect which must be addressed immediately, and they're also asking that democracy and the party has to be strengthened and not weakened, and calling for better engagement and communication. But they say they're with Bola Tinubu, and they say they're not leaving the APC. But where is the talk about the exodus out of the APC by the CPC bloc? I'm being joined by a former minority leader in the House of Representatives, who was one of the core members of the, if you call him one of the backbone of the Buhari internal politics group at the time when President Buhari was in government. You may be right. Tonight, Honorable Farouk Aliyu is live for us on the program tonight. Thanks so much indeed for joining us.
Good evening,
and it's good to see you.
Good evening, Nigeria. Yeah.
We thought, and we're hearing that a lot of you were planning to exit the APC, and there were people who were unhappy with the way and manner things are going.
It's not true.
So you people are staying?
Absolutely. It's not true. Simple.
Okay.
It's nothing like members of the CPC defunct want to move out of APC. Look, our certificate, the certificate of CPC, was part of what formed APC. So how can we leave? To go where? It's our party. APC is our party.
Were you aware that some of your colleagues within the CPC block of the APC met with the president, and he had told them, look, I may not go anywhere with few people, but
which president?
You know that we hear these things and that they are all. No, we're talking about the former president.
Oh, okay.
No, former president Muhammadu Buhari in Kaduna, and they said to him they're planning to exit. They are being mistreated, and they have not been given a place of prominence within the party, the APC. But the former president had told them he was not. Are you aware of that conversation?
Well, I'm aware of the fact that former governor of Kaduna State, who was one of us, went alone in the first instance to tell the former president that he was going to leave. According to him, that's what he said. And he gave an insinuation as if the former president has endorsed him leaving the party. The next day, former president came out with a statement that, look, I'm a bona fide member of APC. I'll continue to be a member of APC. I'm with President Bola Tinubu. I agree with the government, and so on and so forth. So, in regards to El-Rufai, that's it. So he has been the arrowhead of people wanting to leave. He has left, which is all right.
How many people have left with him?
Well, so far, he's the only person that we know that he has left. But you cannot ignore El-Rufai. You cannot say he's a nobody. No. Former governor, one of us, and so on, and we are friends and family.
He's not of the CPC bloc, though.
Who? No,
El-Rufai was never a member of the CPC.
No, he was.
He was a PDP.
No, yeah.
He's a Buhari man.
No, listen. No. El-Rufai was CPC too. But of course he joined us later.
Yeah,
of course. I mean, he's
significantly, El-Rufai will be identified as majorly PDP.
Oh, yeah.
Until
you're right.
The merger.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
In Nigeria today, nobody will see El-Rufai and the prism of a CPC man. You will know. We know.
Yeah, that's true. No, but he was in CPC, honestly, he was. But certainly, he was even deputy, he was in CPC, anyway, he was in CPC. But look, you see, to me, we the elites of this country are simply not being fair to the people. My friend Nasir El-Rufai came out when Bola Tinubu was wanting to be the president. He led the governors of the North, insulted everybody. That look, who are the elders of the North? I am. That he said he was 62 years old then, and that he is a grandfather, he's an elder. He has even contested for election and won twice. All these so-called northern elders, where are they? So they were going to go. He said, we will go with Tinubu. And as God will have it, he went with Tinubu. All of us went with Tinubu. Tinubu won election. He was promised ministerial appointment. Something happened. He didn't get it. All of a sudden, now Tinubu is a bad man. So that's why I said the elites of this country, the masses need to understand that we at the level of elites, we are one and the same. So to me, it's just about him. If he had been a minister, he would have been in the forefront of insulting the northern leaders again for Tinubu. Now,
so you think that the northern elites were used for Tinubu?
No.
Propagated by Nasser El-Rufai.
No. I said he insulted the northern leaders.
So I'm saying that I mean, the inference that you're making from your statement is that he has said whatever he said, trying to speak for Bola Tinubu before the election, and now for his own interest, according to you, is also speaking against Tinubu, and for some reasons that the northern elites, as he spoke to at the time, are still there, and how are they perceiving it?
We're perceiving it as very fine. Look, I try to make an example of myself.
So the northern elites don't see Tinubu as a bad man.
No,
look,
it's not true.
He's making it.
Look, it's not true. You see, as a Muslim, he should try to be content. He should know that what God wills will happen. I'm a shining example. I was with Buhari from day one. And up till the time Buhari left as president, I come here. I've been here with you. I was all over the place defending the government of Muhammadu Buhari. By mistake, my name, a founding member of Buhari's movement, had never featured in any appointment. I left government in 2007. I didn't complain because that's what God wanted. So if it was about me, I would have been making noise all over the place. The sacrifice I made for our group, for Muhammadu Buhari, I don't think El-Rufai did that. I didn't get anything, but I did not complain. So now this is our party. We agreed to come and join this party. I was the returning officer of Muhammadu Buhari in 2014 in Lagos. My state, Jigawa, Kano, and so many other states did not vote for Tinubu to be Buhari to be candidate. The same Tinubu, some of them are insulting today, rallied round people from the southwest and all over the country where he could. I was given an aircraft by Fashola, I remember, to go and bring people from Jigawa for Buhari. Buhari got elected with Tinubu's assistance. Now, because Tinubu is in government, all of a sudden, he doesn't like the North. No, come off it. So it's about us, the elites. Simple. It's elites fight. So the masses need to understand that we among the elites, we don't kill ourselves. We don't insult each other. But the masses, look at what's happening in Plateau. Look at what's happening all over the place. Where the masses will kill themselves because you are either a Muslim or a Christian. And we, the elites, are the ones, fanning the embers of hatred. Whenever we are not in charge, we try to bring down the roof. And we shall not allow.
So is the elite leader using the average person to their own interest? Absolutely. Is that what is playing out?
That is exactly what is playing out. Otherwise, my brother El-Rufai, who should not complain after being a governor for 8 years.
Does he have a right to complain, though?
He does. Absolutely, he does. Then he should come out to complain that, look, why didn't you make me the minister? I want to be a minister.
Was it fairly treated?
Look, what's fair in this game? Was I fairly treated? Was I treated fairly in the government of Muhammadu Buhari? So let's even not go there. It's not about being fair or unfair, but you have to understand that if you do it for your people, then if you don't get something, don't bring down the roof. So we shall not allow anybody.
Is it fair to refer to an El-Rufai consider, because the interview that actually really spoiled or really caused the stir was right on this program with Malam Nasir El-Rufai before the election. That was after their meeting. I invited him, and it was about the card right here on this program, where he spoke about the stance of some of his colleagues and himself about supporting Bola Tinubu, and he gave reasons why he thought power should return should go to the south.
Yeah.
But if you look at the old dynamics of things, is it fair to also say that Nasir El-Rufai is selfish?
Oh, he is extremely selfish. So, as I told you, if he had been a minister, he wouldn't complain. And it's fair for him to complain that he's not a minister. That's okay. But then he should also remember that, look, there are people who know him, who supported him to become what he became. He should not bring down the roof because he has just cleaned out. He had been a governor for 8 years, so to hell, whatever happens, happens. No, you don't do that.
At the center, El-Rufai is not on the same page with the president, whom he helped.
Oh, yeah.
And in the state, but he's not on the same page with...
it is subjective when you say he helped. What do you mean? when you say he helped,
we know that at the time, Ahmed Lawan would have gotten the ticket. If you look at the body language of the villa at the time, if you look at a long list of the people who were in the front running, Rotimi Amechi, for example, would have gotten the ticket. And you have them, what's it called, the former vice president, Yemi Oshibajo, could have gotten the ticket.
Yes.
If not for the likes of Nasir El-Rufai, who stood and said, we're behind, or we are behind, and that's why I said he helped, because he could have actually kept quiet.
No, I don't want to take it as help. It's not help. He's serving his purpose, he's himself. Because look,
so whatever Nasir El-Rufai did was for himself.
Absolutely. Because if it is not for himself, he wouldn't have left by now. Because to say government of Bola Tinubu, he's leaving because of that, is not true. He should have. Why didn't he leave after 1 year? Why didn't he leave that time? So look, I don't want us to discuss personalities, but I want us to talk about our group, the CPC, which we...
because you mentioned a very major name.
Yeah,
you know,
of course. Yeah,
because he's the one who is in this firm with the president.
Yeah.
Well, and the same thing in the state, Ubasani and Nasir El-Rufai are not on the same page.
That's their business. I mean, but, you know, it's between El-Rufai and Ubasani. I don't want to get into that thing. I'm not from Kaduna State. But probably you should ask Ubasani. Probably it should be fair also to Ubasani.
No, when you're talking about the personality of Nasir El-Rufai, so I'm wondering what could have gone so bad that not only that is lost consonance with Bola Tinubu, it's also lost consonance with the man
so it says a lot about him, which means if nothing goes around him because of him, for him, he would rather bring down the roof. And we shall not allow that to happen. Absolutely.
So the question is that if there is no smoke, then sometimes no fire.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so your meeting today came out of the feeling, or there are feelers that there is some discomfort that some of you are feeling within the APC, that the CPC bloc of the party feel a bit aggrieved. And you've mentioned here that in the communique that was released, the issue of better engagement, the issue of discontent within the party, and that the rejection of the party, of division and desperation. These are issues that were raised.
But in politics, what is wrong in talking like this? Politics is about engagement. Politics is about interest of group, people, and so on. So that's all what we are saying. That look, engage more, not only with people from defunct CPC, even from the PDP, from everyone. Because look, what we are trying to do to ensure that in 2027 there will be less opposition.
So what is going on within your party, right? And the secret, I don't want to scream about it. The reason in your party that the likes of Rocha Sokorocha, who is of the APCA. He was a one-man standing in APCA.
True. That's true.
That's one.
That's true.
The likes of Rotimi Amechi.
That's true.
And Atiku Abubakar. They were the strong proponent from the PDP.
That's true.
And the Tinubu has led the ACN group into the APC.
That's
but
true.
you know, the fact remains that the accusation within the APC is that Tinubu has gotten a lot of the Lagos boys around himself, and they have cornered and they have not allowed access. And I've had an Aliyu who will come here to say, look, this is not a Lagos government. Tinubu should open himself up to all the high interests in the party. And these are what is going on. And I hear this a lot in your party. Don't you feel the same?
No, I don't. Listen, you see, when you talk about the leaders, those leaders of the party you mentioned, I think we should wait and see their move before we could discuss. At least Amechi has not publicly said he has left. Rocha Sokora, they've all not said. Atiku Abubakar is not part of us, so we cannot talk about him. But these other leaders who feel aggrieved, and look, if you feel aggrieved, why don't you first of all try to engage? If you are not engaged, then you can come and make noise, and you can even leave if you don't want. But what we're saying is, look, let us not truncate this democracy because of our selfish interest. Simple, that's all we're saying. When you talk about Lagos boys and so on, let me remind you, when President Buhari was in government, these accusations were also all over the place.
Now, some of you, you were the cabal.
Cabal. That's what I would tell you.
You were one of the cabals at the time.
I was, honestly, yeah. But you remember also the northwestern part of this country. We had 10 ministers, not a single minister of state. If you remember, I can mention their names. Yeah. These kind of accusations also came. At one time also, the chief of air staff, this and that chief of army were all from Northeast.
Yeah.
And when Buhari was confronted, he said, look, we have these issues in northeastern part of this country. Let me engage people from there so that they will know what is happening and put that. That's his defense. Whether it's tenable or not, at least he did it. So in the wisdom of President Bola Tinubu too, he put what he put where. And then the government came out to make a statement that, look, there are over 7,000 appointments. Why don't you wait and see what we'll do?
But are they not skewed in your own view? Because all the economic powerhouse.
No, look, it's subjective when you say because look,
is it?
Yeah, an office is who makes the office. You could put me somewhere and I can make the office work. And then look,
are things working though?
I think
it's working. The question is that if the defense is, I can only put people that I know that can get the job done,
there are a lot
no matter where they come from.
There are a lot of
but are things working?
There are a lot of challenges, certainly. And these challenges are everywhere. Look, I was here all the time appealing to the public for patience and, for President Muhammadu Buhari. I'm also extending that kind of thing. That, look, let's see. Because, look, President Tinubu, whatever you want to say about him, there are certain things he did. All the candidates that contested with him promised to remove subsidy. You remember, all of them. So he had the guts. And then look, if you flip the other side, who actually removed the subsidy? It was President Buhari. It was President Buhari who removed the subsidy, not Tinubu. That's the truth. Because in the budgetary allocation of 2020,
the provisions were not
there.
By the provision of the law, actually, down the line, naturally, the subsidy would have been done.
Yeah, exactly.
By provision of law. So it would have been illegal to make provision for
exactly. So that is it. I mean,
but he took a political decision.
Absolutely. So President Buhari did not. And look, he also had reasons. You got so many things happened before the election. The fuel subsidy removal too. There were issues that there could be riot, there could be this and that. The census too, why it was shifted, there could be chaos and so on. So some of the decisions were not deliberate. But so it was actually President Muhammadu Buhari that removed this subsidy. And now it was Tinubu who actualized it. Simple. That's it.
Yeah. Now, and I ask you, are you worried? I mean, you are a Jigawa man.
Yeah.
Jigawa, Kano, Katsina, Kaduna. These are the number base of the northern votes.
Yeah.
You play with them at your detriment.
That's true.
Where did Tinubu miss it, such that there seems to be some discontent about his government within some northern bloc?
It is still us, the elites. Simple.
You are the ones making
absolutely. A lot of my friends and my colleagues don't see it the way probably I see. That look, just because you don't get an appointment does not mean you should just throw down everything. So if look, and there's still time. We're just going to get to cross 2 years. We'll look at the president in his face and tell him that, look, Mr. President, you need to do A, B, C, D. And if he does not, and look, he is also a listening person. You could see that so many things he will bring to the table. If people scream, he will just,
So as a political strategy, you don't think that things have gotten irredeemable?
No, absolutely.
They are still redeemable.
Of course they are.
Politically speaking.
Yes.
Why isn't there no grip? I mean, a lot of people will say Tinubu is politically astute. And you imagine that it could bring that to bear, but it seems to be the Achilles of his government is a political hold of things.
Let me make a confession here. You see, when we were in the opposition, there are so many assumptions. When we were attacking Jonathan, Buhari, myself, Bakare, Tinubu, all of us, we were on the street all over the world, all over the country. Remember the Save Nigeria? Remember the subsidy, the fuel thing? We refused Jonathan to increase. We were in opposition. We didn't know. When Buhari came to government, didn't he increase the pump price? We didn't know what Jonathan was doing. We were abusing him all over the place. But now when the reality stared us at the face, that's why Buhari did what he did. That's why Tinubu is doing what he did. So there are assumptions you make while you are outside, and when you come in, you okay, yes, now we under. Absolutely. So these are.
So it was unfair to have criticized Jonathan at the time. No, with the benefit of hindsight.
No, but you know what? In democracy, no matter how good, that's why I am so pained that in this country we don't have opposition now. When we were in the opposition, because no matter how good the government is, those in opposition should come and criticize and attack politically, economically, so that the people will get the best of the system.
Let me, to wrap this up, the CPC said they are loyal to Tinubu.
Absolutely.
They are in APC and they won't go.
Well, our leader said so also.
That's
President Buhari. No, President Buhari.
Yeah.
President Buhari said so.
Yeah.
He's the leader of CPC group.
But with the articles and the coalition talk around there, hey, you're worried, I know. You're politicians of of great experience.
I said it the day before yesterday, that, we'll also not sit by as politicians to allow them rear their heads. We'll continue to put sand inside their gari. In some places, we'll put stones in their gari, so they will not rear their heads. So we will not just sit by and allow them just take over the government.
So the coalition will not stand as far as the APC is concerned.
We will ensure.
You will destabilize them.
We will. Because they are also trying to, this kind of movement that's happening now in APC, what you said about some of us trying to go out, is that not all from them? Trying to destabilize the ruling party? We have something in common. At least
but isn't it going to be a very tough path for Tinubu to be able to return as a second term?
Well, it wasn't easy for him to become the president the first time, so it's not going to be easy.
Looking at the coalition talks and all of that.
Well, but you see, they are strong bedfellows. We are watching to see now. There will be candidacy now. That's when they will start fighting. At least we have our own candidate.
But it looks sure that Atiku will run. With Atiku on the ballot?
Well, let's get to the bridge before we cross it. Because I am sure in trying to get the candidature, probably my friend El-Rufai is trying also eyeing the position. I don't know. So there will be for there too. In our own party, we have our candidate in the president. So no comes about it. Right. So we know our candidate and we'll work for him by the grace of God.
Honorable Farouk Adamu Aliyu is a former minority leader in the House of Representatives from Jigawa State. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure having you. Always, as always. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you.
You look good anyways.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You are an elder statesman. A lot of people may not know that.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll take a break, everyone. But when we return, I'll take you to Plateau. There is trouble on the Plateau. The governor has spoken. But really, what is the solution, the way out of all of these deadly attacks and killings? We'll be right back after now. Let us go. Governor has made some very strong announcement in the wake of the attack in Basa local government area of the state. He's now banned night grazing, restricted the use of motorcycles across the state, and it's also in that state broadcast, he's described the attacks as a coordinated act of terror. Let me allow you to listen to Governor Caleb Mutfwang.
As your governor, I stand resolved. Plateau shall not be overrun by fear, nor shall we accept this culture of bloodshed as the new normal. My administration is intensifying efforts to protect our people and enforce the rule of law across all local governments. But let me reassure you, my government is alive to its constitutional responsibility of protecting lives and property, and we are rising to the occasion more determined than ever. To restore calm and strengthen vigilance, I hereby announce the following measures effective Wednesday, April 16th. Night grazing of cattle is strictly prohibited. Transportation of cattle by vehicle is banned after 7 p.m. The use of motorcycles is restricted from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. across the state until further notice. We are also activating community-based response systems. I urge the traditional leaders and youth associations to reactivate local vigilante groups and organize night patrols in coordination with the security agencies. We must protect our communities while upholding the rule of law.
All right, then you heard the governor, Caleb Mutfwang, is reacting or making decisive actions against in the aftermath of the deadly attack in Basa local government area, which saw about 51 persons killed. I'm being joined tonight on the program by a member representing Plateau State in the House of Representatives. I guess is also the chair of the House Committee on the Navy, isn't it? Honorable Yusuf Gagdi. Thanks so much indeed for joining us tonight on the program.
Thank you, Sheldon.
Sad scenario playing out in your state. And you've heard the state address by the governor. But what we've been wondering, the question that I asked the governor the last time I had a conversation with him about what exactly are these communal clashes?
Sean, thank you very much for asking me this question. Before answering that, my heart goes out to Plateau people. That it is very unfortunate that the fertile lands in Bokos, in Mangu, in Bassa, in Garga area, part of Kanam, a constituency I represent, in part of Wasei, and some part of Plateau have been turned to battlefield. It has been very unfortunate. Plateau crisis means different things to different people. Just like any other attacks, killing, genocide have different definitions. Call scholars, professors to define the crisis, the attacks in Benue to you, you will hear different definition. So to me, people can call it communal. People can call it religious. It depends on the context and the dimension, the perspective you want to see. But it is not communal to me. And it is neither religion. It is criminal. It is criminal.
Who are these criminals?
If it is communal, or like you ask me, let anybody from Plateau and outside Plateau come here to tell you the tribes that are fighting among themselves. Tribes in Bassa were attacked just yesterday, day before yesterday, Irigwe, and some other tribes. Tribes in Bokos were attacked last week. They are not Irigwe. They are not Bogom. They are not Jar. Tribes are attacked in Mangu. In my local government, Jar people are attacked within the forest of Kanam, Boundary, Karaba, and Wasei, where in a day in 2022, 147 people were killed. In one day, massacred and genocide. And all the 147 or 57, I don't know, only 4 are Christians. And those people who attacked them are the bandits, the Fulani militias.
They are Fulani.
Of course, in the forest in Kanam. In one day, the Fulanis that were ransacked from Zampara, Zampara area, Kebbi, Sokoto, have the forest in Kanam that infiltrate Taraba with all those attacks there, attacked Muslim communities in Kanam, killed 147, only 3 were Christians. Can you say that is a communal or religious attack?
So, but to what end is this criminality? When you say these are criminals,
it's anybody that will define
what are they
Plateau
looking
crisis
for?
as tribal or religion, in my opinion, please, in my opinion, is not fair to the situation. It is purely criminal. In a situation,
as a member of the House of Representatives, you have native intelligence of what you grew up. You know.
I was born and brought up there. I farmed there. Listen, I carry firewood in those villages. I did.
So you know.
Are there no churches and mosques in Jos, in Bokos today, in Bassa? So how is it religious?
What are these criminals looking for?
It is criminal because let me define why I term it criminal. And it is genocide. I will call it without any fear of contradiction. For someone to descend on a community that knows nothing about, for instance, if it is your cattle that are being rustled, there are due process to pursue and follow up those criminal syndicates, which without any fear of contradiction, I will say it here too, that the syndicate that are rustling cattle in Plateau put together almost all the tribes. You cannot say, I have been a chairman, special committee on peace and security in Plateau. I have investigated Plateau crisis for 1 month, for 1 year, 6 months under
Governor Simon Bakola long administration when I was the deputy speaker in Plateau, you discover that the syndicate that rustled cattle are syndicate that put together. Maybe you find my tribes, youths of my tribe are part of it. Some one or two. There are criminals in all the tribe. But what we are saying is this. How, for crying loud sake, I will say this again without any fear of fable. You have a situation whereby a community is attacked, over 50 people were killed. And some communities were isolated from the attack. It breeds mutual suspicion. How can we be staying together with you in Bokos and House A, B, C are attacked, while House D, E were skipped, then F and G were attacked? It makes people to suspect that the people that their houses were spared, their communities were skipped, could know something about those.
Honorable, let me ask you quickly. And there are natives who have told us about some kind of reprisal in this kind of scenarios.
Certainly, yes.
Yeah, a lot of the times you see them that there are some herders who have been attacked, and days later, the community where those herders have been attacked are being wiped out, people are being killed.
I will not equally sit here to tell you that is not true. It is absolutely true. The security asks them, anybody that feels it is not true should ask the head of security agencies in Plateau. Yes, it's true you ask. There are situations whereby community attacks herders. Some is not attacked. Their cattle are being roasted by the criminal syndicate that belong to both the herders themselves and the community itself. Then it is true that you have been attacked. Herders have been attacked, it's a fact. But is that a justification to you descending on your community, on people that knows nothing about how your cattle is being rustled or how your members are being killed, to kill anybody that knows nothing about the attack?
So do you agree with the governor when he says these attacks, he described them as coordinated acts of terror? Do you agree with him?
I agree with that statement. This is a situation that, we are not to play politics with security situation. We are not to play politics with the lives of the people. We are not to play politics with the life of the people that make us who we are. Human life is sacred. Whether you are from my tribe or not my tribe. Whether you are from my religion or not my religion. Whether you are from my party or not my party. It is coordinated. But you will equally agree with me that an injury to one is an injury to all. That's why I'm speaking for the entire Plateau people. The assertion that cattle are being rustled is true. The assertion that there have always been isolated killing of some of the cattle rearers is equally true. But you wonder how one person will be killed rearing cattle and his cattle is being rustled. The people that killed that one person and rustle those cattle are not the victim of reprisal of that particular situation. The peace-loving people of Plateau tend to become victims of that circumstance. And mind you, in the motion I brought, when similar situation happened last 3 months in Garga area of Kanam local government where I represent, it is the community, the people of my community that have been attacked by the bandits. If they are the ones that have been attacked by the bandits, you don't expect the bandits. It's a situation whereby we have local vigilantes. They kidnap some people, and the local vigilantes were brave enough to go to the forest and discover where the bandits were sleeping and kill 4 of them. Then the bandits informed their other co-travelers and attacked 5, 6, 7 different communities in Kanam local government and killed over 147. Then the thing is this. If you look at the poorest nature, border nature of Kanam local government, with Wase, that boundaries Taraba, Garga area, that boundaries Yankari, Gagdi Gum area, that boundaries Burga and what have you. Plateau, Kanam local government and Plateau state is vulnerable. When I was screaming that if you take the attacks in Kanam for granted, because there is no single checkpoint from Taraba forest to Kanam, If there is no checkpoint from that forest to Kanam, there is no checkpoint from Yankari to Garga to Kanam, there is no checkpoint from Burga to Gum to Kanam, what makes you think that those bandits and kidnappers and attackers and people that are killing Plateau people will not have access to other local government in Plateau?
In these coordinated attacks, act of terror as described by the governor, I mean, you understand and you hear from your constituent, how sophisticated are these criminals?
They are as sophisticated as people that are killing people everywhere. As sophisticated as what is happening.
Because if they say it's a coordinated act of terror,
yeah.
Terror in itself is someone who wants to unleash a maximum pain on the people. And when you do that in a coordinated way, it gives a sense that there is a group of people who have been armed, it sounds to me like they are sophisticated. Their sophistry make them to attack and not being caught.
It's not like that. It is negligence on the part of our security that make them not being caught. But it's not sophistication, as far as I'm concerned.
Is that fair to say that the security agencies are negligent?
I say it without any fear of contradiction, Shehu. I am a member of the House of Representatives. And let me say something very clear today to all Nigerians. For the first time, I will say this. We are in a country that prior to even this administration, from Goodluck Jonathan's, Ebele Jonathan's administration, to President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, now to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, tell me anywhere, Shehu, listen to me, Shehu, tell me one situation, one instance, where attack that claimed the life of 1, 2, 3 to 10 and 100 happened within a jurisdiction of a particular security operation, that one of the security that is responsible for protection of the life and properties of the people within that area was held to account for what happened. Tell me when President Jonathan fired somebody for neglecting his responsibility as a result of loss of lives and properties of the people. Tell me when did President Buhari, Muhammadu Buhari did that. Tell me one instance where a strategic military, police, DSS or any commandant, that the president gave a marching order that the lives of the people of my country are sacred. You must display proficiency by doing your responsibility of protecting the life and properties of those people, that he fell in doing that. Even as a result of the negligence of the security agency, that one person was fired. Tell me.
So you think that the leadership of the country should have taken a more decisive action?
Definitely yes.
What do you think the president
would have done? If today you are here, so pretending over politics today, isn't it? You are doing well, that's why we are coming here. You are inviting people. There are other journalists that can, but you will equally agree with me that an injury to one is an injury to all. That's why I'm speaking for the entire Plateau people. The assertion that cattle are being rustled is true. The assertion that there have always been isolated killing of some of the cattle rearers is equally true. But you wonder how one person will be killed rearing cattle and his cattle is being rustled. The people that killed that one person and rustled those cattle are not the victim of reprisal of that particular situation. The peace-loving people of Plateau tend to become victims of that circumstance. And mind you, in the motion I brought, when similar situation happened last 3 months in Garga area of Kanam local government where I represent, it is the community, the people of my community that are being attacked by the bandits. If they are the ones that have been attacked by the bandits, you don't expect the bandits. It's a situation whereby we have local vigilantes. They kidnap some people, and the local vigilantes were brave enough to go to the forest and discover where the bandits were sleeping and kill 4 of them. Then the bandits informed their other co-travelers and attacked 5, 6, 7 different communities in Kanam local government and killed over 147. Then the thing is this. If you look at the poorest nature, border nature of Kanam local government, with Wase, that boundaries Taraba, Garga area, that boundaries Yankari, Gagdi, Gum area that boundaries Burga and what have you. Plateau, Kanam local government and Plateau state is vulnerable. When I was screaming that if you take the attacks in Kanam for granted, because there is no single checkpoint from Taraba forest to Kanam. If there is no checkpoint from that forest to Kanam, there is no checkpoint from Yankari to Garga to Kanam, there is no checkpoint from Burga to Gum to Kanam, what makes you think that those bandits and kidnappers and attackers and people that are killing Plateau people will not have access to other local government in Plateau?
In these coordinated attacks, act of terror as described by the governor, you understand and you hear from your constituent, how sophisticated are these criminals?
They are as sophisticated as people that are killing people everywhere. As sophisticated as what is happening.
Because if they say it's a coordinated act of terror,
yeah.
Terror in itself is someone who wants to unleash a maximum pain on the people. And when you do that in a coordinated way, it gives a sense that there is a group of people who have been armed, it sounds to me like they are sophisticated. Their sophistry make them to attack and not being caught.
It's not like that. It is negligence on the part of our security that make them not being caught. But it's not sophistication, as far as I'm concerned.
Is that fair to say that the security agencies are negligent?
I say it without any fear of contradiction, Shehu. I am a member of the House of Representatives. And let me say something very clear today to all Nigerians. For the first time, I will say this. We are in a country that prior to even this administration, from Goodluck Jonathan's, Ebele Jonathan's administration, to President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, now to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Tell me anywhere, Shehu, listen to me, Shehu. Tell me one situation, one instance, where attack that claimed the life of 1, 2, 3 to 10 and 100 happened within a jurisdiction of a particular security operation, that one of the security that is responsible for protection of the life and properties of the people within that area was held to account for what happened. Tell me when President Jonathan fired somebody for neglecting his responsibility as a result of loss of lives and properties of the people. Tell me when did President Buhari, Muhammadu Buhari did that. Tell me one instance where a strategic military, police, DSS or any commandant, that a president gave a marching order that the lives of the people of my country are sacred. You must display proficiency by doing your responsibility of protecting the life and properties of those people, that he fell in doing that. Even as a result of the negligence of the security agency, that one person was fired. Tell me.
So you think that the leadership of the country should have taken a more decisive action?
Definitely yes.
What do you think the president
would have done? If today you are here, so pretending over politics today, isn't it? You are doing well, that's why we are coming here. You are inviting people. There are other journalists that can pretend over this program, perhaps better than you. But because you have displayed proficiency, the management have kept you to pretend over politics today. If people are coming here not to discuss what add value to Nigeria, and you are not showing professionalism in the discharge of your function as the anchor of politics today, will the management keep you here? If you are kept here because you are doing well, why are people that allow people to be killed on a daily basis are not sanctioned, are not called to account, are not called to say why within their own watch people are killed on a daily basis? So has there been any person, have there been any head of security agencies that have been queried?
Atiku is saying today that Nigeria is in a state of emergency, that the whole nation is in a state of emergency.
I am here, I'm APC, but I'm not here to talk politics. It is very unfortunate that if I'm here to talk politics, I should have queried some of the actions of the governor. But I didn't. I will support him to ensure that there is peace in Plateau. When it comes to politics, I will face him. There are two different things. But now he is a governor. The security of life and the protection of the properties of the citizens of Plateau is donated to him. So, as equally a political player a leader, a stakeholder in my own right, who represent 3 local government from the 17 local government that the governor administers. I should be able to show him maximum cooperation at this level, not politics, to ensure that our people are not being killed.
You heard what he said.
But if Atiku says Nigeria is on state of emergency, he knows why he said so. It is politics. And let me tell you something. They will get it wrong is if we notice that politicians will want to capitalize on Plateau situation to politicize the situation. I have seen people that say something and I call them to say, no, stop, support this man. When it happened in Bokos, the governor of Plateau went to Bokos after 1, 2, 3 days. Yes, he should study the situation before he goes to Bokos. As a governor, I will not advise that he should descend to Bokos the day it is happening. The next day, he traveled out of the state and attended a PDP function in Oyo. When people were displaying his picture in the night in Oyo, I said, no, whatsoever it is, yes, he has gone to Oyo, he has jetted back to Plateau, and he is trying to find a solution to the situation. He is human. Let's forget politics and let's talk about what can we do to ensure that the
you look at some of the things that Governor Mufwang said today, banning transportation of cattle at a certain time of the day, and also some of the restrictions that he has said. Do you think that in the immediate those will help to curtail?
It is fine, but I will equally point out something that we need to cure from that. There is a saying I said once when I was in the Plateau State House of Assembly, and it became quote of the day. And I quote, a lawless community is a hopeless community. When a community have no laws, or when there are laws and community don't seem to adhere to those laws, that community become hopeless. I'm not arrogating this to Plateau, because some people will take this politically and misrepresent me. The law banning Okada operation, the directive that the governor gave today banning Okada operation is a law in existence since I was in the State Assembly. You make laws, people don't implement the law until they see the consequences of the non-implementation of that law, then you make pronouncement. There are existence of law that prohibits that. But why can't we, let's take those laws serious.
So now, from the days of Jonah
what I want to cure, what I want to cure is this. It is not part of the pronouncement are pronouncement. Some of the pronouncement, it should have just been the law. They should activate that law. There is no legal framework that allow operation of Okada motorcycles in
to the minds of a lot of to the minds of a lot of Nigerians, they will imagine that Plateau again. I remember things were horrible.
Are you saying that? Are they still saying that?
No, people will say, Plateau again, because this attack is one too many. When you see people in
Plato's name is like my name. Very interesting. That is how Gagdi, yes. When you say we know whom they know, they don't know whom we know, it becomes talk of the war. That is how Plateau name is. Why don't they say Zampara again? As people as Zampara, why don't they say Kepi, Sokoto again?
Because for those of us,
again,
Plateau who know Plateau, I mean, if you look at the number of foreigners in this country,
are there not foreigners in Plateau?
Just a moment. And in the days of Jonah Jang, for example, things were horrible. Things were terrible. And there was some breather afterwards. And we saw it again happen under Lalong. And again, this time around. The question on the minds of people is, how do we stop these senseless killings on the Plateau?
Okay, let me answer that question. The problem in the minds of us Plateau people, as people have that question, we Plateau people have this question. Why is it always Plateau? In the days of Joshua Darie, 2021, there was crisis that claimed a lot of lives in Plateau. Then Jang, as you said, Governor Jang. Then Governor Lalong. And now Governor Mutfong. What is it that is so important that these people perpetrating this trouble, which have external influence, will not stop?
External influence?
Yes.
From where?
Yes. Did a German from Kanam go and kill people in Kukawa?
So who are these?
Is it Bogom person?
Who are these external people?
The bandit, of course. I told you in Kanam, I will give you an example with my own local government that Governor Lalong visited. when 147 people were massacred. And I'll tell you,
how do we end this?
We have taken decision.
What is the decision?
The decision is that we will make our people more vigilant. 1, 2. It is difficult, but we have to do it. We must keep politics aside and face the situation the way it is. And let me tell you how. When I investigated Plateau situation in the State House of Assembly, I made recommendation that there should be community-led committees at ward and local government level that should be interrelated. You must have a security outfit that will not have predominantly one tribe as the operational capacity of that outfit. If I am from Abuja and there is crisis in Abuja, and you have Hausa, Igbo, Yorubas in Abuja, and you put a security outfit that are all Hausas, do you think Yoruba and Igbo will trust that security outfit? So we must have unity.
We are totally out
we
of
must
time.
be one, so that we face the situation the way it should be faced. 1, 2, cattle wrestling. That is a syndicate that even our local people are part of those rustling cattle of the natives, of the Fulani must equally be stopped to avoid those things that is meted to people that knows nothing about any crisis situation.
Honorable Yusuf Gagdi is a member of the House of Representatives representing Plateau State in the National Assembly, and of course as a chair of the Navy Committee. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you
for your time.
Thank you.
That's our show for tonight, everyone, and thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. God bless Nigeria.